Good morning, Dr. Ray. I'm Justine Bailey, and as you know, I represent Jonathan Cash.
Good morning.
We're here today to take your deposition in the case of Jonathan Cash versus Pennsylvania Tube. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Sure. Michael Wright, MD.
And Dr. Wright, can you explain your education and experience?
Yes, I received a Bachelor of Science degree in pre-med in 1992, and I graduated from medical school at the College of Philadelphia in 1996 and proceeded to do my residency in orthopedic surgery and neurosurgery at University Hospital in Pittsburgh. That ended in 2000, and at that time I entered into private practice.
Okay. And Doctor, are you board certified?
Yes, I am.
What specialty?
In neurosurgery, and that is since 2003.
Oh, okay. Now, do you understand that we're here today regarding your patient, Jonathan Cash?
Yes.
Were you given a history from Mr. Cash about a work injury that happened on October 15, 2010?
Yes, I was.
And what history were you given by Mr. Cash?
When I initially met Mr. Cash at our March 5th, 2011 examination, he explained to me that in the course of his employment with Pennsylvania Tube, he was handling a long length of pipe, approximately 20 feet in length actually, and he was taking these pipes and putting them onto a conveyor for processing through the plant. And he explained that he was holding one of these long lengths of pipe and moving it onto a conveyor. He was gripping the pipe tightly with both hands and oriented such that the conveyor was on his left. And as he was putting the pipe onto the conveyor apparently kicked back or reversed in some fashion, jarring Mr. Cash and causing twisting in his low back. And he reported that at that time he felt a pop in his lower back, as well as what we call radicular pain, which is pain shooting down into the right leg.
Okay. And Doctor, do you have any understanding of any prior low back treatment Mr. Cash may have underwent prior to October 15th?
Yes, Mr. Cash explained to me that he did undergo some casual chiropractic treatment for regular aches and pain in his low back, but certainly nothing to the extent of the symptoms that he described to me following this work incident, and certainly nothing involving radicular pain into his right leg.
Okay. Doctor, do you have an opinion whether Mr. Cash sustained a low back injury on October 15, 2010 while working at Pennsylvania Tube?
Yes, I do.
And what is your opinion?
I believe that he did sustain a work injury at that time.
And Doctor, what is the nature of that injury?
Mr. Cash suffered a L5-S1 disc herniation resulting in spinal stenosis and aggravation of his pre-existing degenerative disc disease.
Doctor, what is your basis for that opinion?
That basis is based on the mechanism of injury as described to me by Mr. Cash, as well as my review of his diagnostic studies involving MRI and X-ray, and my course of treatment with him over a period of several weeks and months, and of course my surgery and my ability to view his internal structures as well.
Doctor, is it even possible for someone to sustain a herniated disc given the mechanism of injury as described by Mr. Cash?
I believe that it is.
Okay. How so?
Well, if we refer to our skeleton here to show an example, at this level you see the 9.5-S1 disc level. And in Mr. Cash's case, he's already having some degenerative problems. So the space in between the vertebrae, where the disc is starting to narrow. And as he was oriented, holding the pipe with the conveyor on his left, as the pipe kicked back, it caused a twisting motion and torsion, causing the spine to move this way, and that's consistent with the right-sided focal disc herniation and the radicular symptoms into the right leg.
Doctor, do you have an opinion whether the surgery that you performed was reasonable, necessary, and causally related to his work injury?
Yes, I do, and I believe that it was.
Do you have Mr. Cash on any restrictions right now?
Yes, Mr. Cash is currently restricted from all work as he recovers from his surgery. I've also prescribed a course of physical therapy and work hardening to hopefully get him back into a work environment soon.
Okay. Dr. Wright, I'm going to show you a report that we have. Can you verify that you authored this report that on my request?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to attach this as Deposition Exhibit 1. Any objection to that?
No objection.
Thank you. Doctor, have all your opinions rendered today been within a reasonable degree of medical certainty?
They have.
I have nothing further.
Doctor, my name is Harry Lafferty. I represent Pennsylvania Tube and its insurance carrier in this workers' compensation litigation. If I understand your direct testimony correctly, it appears it's your opinion that Mr. Cash's problems are emanating from two things, one being stenosis and degenerative disc disease, and the other being a herniated disc. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Doctor, you would agree with me that both stenosis and degenerative disc disease are conditions that develop throughout an individual's lifetime and not something that develops as a result of an acute injury, correct?
I would agree that they are gradual processes that develop over time, but certainly if there is a traumatic acute injury, that those conditions can be aggravated.
And further, doctor, you would agree with me that a herniated disc is something that can occur spontaneously and without any inciting traumatic event, correct?
I agree that that's true, but again, if there is an inciting event, twisting injury, dealing with the pipe, for instance, this is certainly something that can occur.
And you did review the MRI that was taken shortly after Mr. Cash's alleged incident at work.
Yes, I reviewed those films.
And as I understand it, that your review of those films is part of the basis for reaching your diagnosis of Mr. Cash's condition, correct?
That's correct.
But when you review those films, you can't actually tell when the conditions that were depicted on the films occurred, right?
That's certainly true, but given Mr. Cash's complaints of symptoms to me, it seems unlikely that given the herniation that's represented on that MRI, that he would have been able to continue performing any type of work subsequent to that type of herniation.
So what you're saying is that you're relying on Mr. Cash's history of when his symptoms developed to reach your diagnosis and your opinion about the causation of his problems, correct?
That's correct to the extent that Mr. Cash explained to me his extreme low back pain symptoms and radicular symptoms into his right leg. It's not based entirely on his statements to me that he never had any back complaints before, because he informed me of that previously.
All right. Well, if it turned out that Mr. Cash's previous history is different than what he related to you, it's fair to say that your opinion about causation would change, right?
It's certainly a possibility.
Doctor, I'm going to show you a chiropractic record from Mr. Cash's treating chiropractor. Take a look at this, if you will, please.
Sure.
You would agree that that indicates that Mr. Cash was seeking treatment for low back pain less than 2 weeks before this alleged occurrence, correct?
Yes, I agree that that's true. Like I stated previously, Mr. Cash informed me of his prior chiropractic treatment.
Well, this would indicate to you that he was having problems in his low back just shortly before this alleged incident at work, right?
Yes, I agree. Like I stated before, Mr. Cash informed me that he sought chiropractic treatment, which is a lifestyle choice. And I would note on this October 3rd, 2010 record that there's no indication of the radicular pain into the right leg or the noted severity of the low back complaints.
Very well, doctor. I'm going to mark this exhibit, Deposition Exhibit 2, and have that attached by the court reporter.
Fine.
I don't have any further questions, doctor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, doctor.
I'll waive signature.